you know, there's no right or wrong way to do this. Your job as an actor is to seek out the best teachers you can find, take what they're giving you, try it. You have to test it out. You know, not every teacher teaches something clearly for you. You have to seek out the people who are not only clear in what they say, but give you tools that when they give them to you, you can take them and do them on your own. I think the litmus test for a good class, any good class, is that for your investment, be it time, which has value, or money, which is value, that you're giving the teacher of this time and money, what are you getting in return? For this time and money, what am I giving you? Am I giving you a tool, a tangible equation that no matter what script or circumstance you're given, if you apply said tool, you're a better actor. It gives you the tools to spend more time with the script. So I don't care whether you're at Yale or the Actors Studio or HB Studios or just somebody here in Atlanta or wherever you are. If you're not getting something in return that you can quantify, that is tangible for you, I think it's time to move on to a different teacher. And I think that's my best advice for you is that. And don't be afraid to question the teachers. You're the buyer. I'm the seller. You know, in this relationship here, you can interview me and go, okay, what am I going to get? And if the teacher can't get past, well, acting, I think that's a red flag. I think anybody who's good at what they do should be able to, in detail, discuss the minutia of what you're going to work on and learn. And if they can't, or if they get defensive, that's time to move on. That's a red flag.
Right.
But whether you're New York or LA, Michelle, again, it's you study with the best teachers and you apply the tools. You can't just go to class and not do it to the script. You have to take these tools out for test drives. You have to build your foundation with your craft and then put it out to the world to see how is it being received. When I apply these tools, how does Jordan Blair Brown receive my work? Does it work for her? What is the feedback I'm getting from the people who are making the decisions, subjectively making the decisions on your craft? But you have to be willing to take the good with the bad. Like anybody else, we can do an audition for 10 people at the same time. You could line up 10 casting directors in Atlanta, do the same audition for them. They're seeing the same thing, but somebody's going to think you're the greatest actor they've ever seen. They're batshit crazy. Somebody's going to think you're the worst actor they've ever seen. Equally batshit crazy. The other 8 in the middle are going to be somewhere in between. Who's right? Who's wrong? The correct answer to me always will be, who gives a shit? It's an opinion. And unless that opinion comes with something constructive, like you were great because of this, or it was good, I like this, or you suck because of this, that's awesome. I can work on those things. If it's just, thumbs up or thumbs down. Anyway, I got the timeout from Daisy. See, acting isn't talking. This is communication. Bam. She wants me to stop. Her objective is to get me to stop. Her tactic is this.
That's the objective. Do you know why? Because we have some people that have to leave at 12. We can stay longer with you. Some people have to go to work, etc. So those people who have to leave at 12, do you want to go ahead and ask your next question if you know you have to leave at 12? Anybody who has to leave at 12 that wants to ask a question. Otherwise, we'll just go with the next question. Okay. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and be the one with the next question. You've been with Liam Neeson, Tom Hanks, major names, yes, major names. But the thing is, I want to know, what is a day like in your life when you get that audition, your process? If you can give us a quick rundown of, you get the script,
yep, 100%.
And what makes you have the golden goose eggs that you're booking so much?
And, it's subjective too. I've been doing it a long time. So again, persistence is key. So the longer you're around, the longer people trust that you're going to do solid work, the more opportunities you get. So I don't know if I book more, but I do get a lot of opportunities. And it's one of those things, what the old saying, the more shit you throw against the wall, something will stick. I guess I get a chance to throw more shit than a lot of people. So, you got to be good shit slingers.
So you get the script.
I get a script. I'm sorry, question?
You get the script and then what?
I get the script. The first thing I do is read it immediately. I don't wait. I don't go, I'll look at it later. You have to look at it immediately. Time is of the essence. Time management is key. We have very little turnaround time, relatively speaking, to the rest of the world when it comes to auditions turning around. And that's nobody's fault other than that's just the nature of the biz right now. I stop everything I'm doing, barring an emergency, and I stop, whether it's on my phone, iPad, laptop. I print it up if I can. I don't rely reading it on I need hard copy paper, and I read it and I read it and I read it. And the first thing I do is I read through the script 10 times, whether it's 10 pages, 1 page, 1 word, I read through it 10 times. then I challenge myself to be able to, in my own words, tell somebody what's going on here. I want to be able in my own words, describe the circumstances, the wants, the needs, and in my own words, can I paraphrase the script right now? Because once I can paraphrase, I understand what's going on. Then I sit down with it and I start playing with the tools. And the first tool I go to, I keep asking myself, what does my character want? What's the obstacle standing in the way of what I want? Because ultimately, I think for actors, that's the toughest thing for them to identify. So I immediately start posing the question, what does my character want, right? What's my character's goal, and what is standing in the way of what my character wants? Where's my obstacle? And I keep looking for that, but I keep reading the script. Then I start playing with the tools. I want to spend time with script. Hold on, my dog is dying to get out. Hold on, here you go, buddy. Hold on. Sorry. I believe he who spends the most time with the script wins. And let's talk about this for a second. Wins doesn't mean book the job, because again, it's a numbers game. There's 1,000 reasons you're not going to book the job you have no control over. Wins doesn't mean you're going to get a call back. Again, a numbers game, you still got to be right for the part. Wins doesn't even mean they're going to like you. So he who spends the most time with the script wins means he who spends the most time with the script gives themselves the best opportunity to make the strongest choice. I want to make, what we do as actors is we make choices. There's a great quote from Stella Adler, which is, acting has nothing to do with talent. The talent of the actor is in the choices that we make. So what are we choosing? So the tools. I believe all good acting tools have choices amongst them. Tactics. Tactics are just actions. They're just verb phrases. Am I threatening you? Am I warning you? Am I begging you? Am I flirting with you? Am I scolding with you? How many choices are there? I don't know. There's a book that's got about 100,000 of them in here called Actions, the Actor's Thesaurus. And everything in here is another tactic to affect your obstacle. And every time you do one of these, it's a different character, because in life and on stage, we are judged by our actions. If I threaten you, I'm the threatening guy. If I beg you, I'm the desperate guy. If I flirt with you, I'm the flirtatious guy. If I apologize to you, I'm sorry. Regardless of the lines, we're judged by our actions. So choices, I can choose my objective. I can choose if I'm doing a scene with Jordan, regardless of the scene, I can choose to try to make her happy. I can choose to try to make her laugh. I can choose to try to scare her. I can choose to try to get rid of her. The dialogue is the dialogue. I have to give myself something real to do, because the rest of it's not real. It's somebody else's words. It's somebody else's circumstances. I, as the actor, have to go, all right, the rest of it's just that stuff. But what can I do real here? Can I embarrass Jordan? Can I try to make her blush? Can I try to get her to fall in love with me? Can I try to make her feel like shit? These are just choices that I get to make in the craft, something real, tangible that I can try to achieve, the measurable objective. So I work on that, always looking for something that I can do. I ask myself, what's my primal objective? In life, there's about 7 or 8 primal objectives, and all characters have one. What is my goal? Do I want peace and happiness? So every choice I make has to get me closer to peace and happiness. Do I want success? What am I going to do in the scene that takes my character closer to success? Do I want respect? Do I want people to fear me? Do I want riches? Do I want sex? What am I going to do in this scene that's going to take me closer to my primal need? So again, I go... Yeah.
Let me stop just a second. So just to be clear, you said you get the script, you read it 10 times first, flat, I guess, and then you start doing what you're saying, like saying, what am I doing?
After the 10 times through, I go, can I paraphrase? Can I have the discussion with my character right now in my own words? In my own words right now. Because I also remind myself, this is an audition. I probably take more liberties than most actors do in town. I will never prioritize the verbatim over the objective. This might hurt Jordan's ears to hear that. My inner monologues come out before I'm improvising, I'm adding. My inner monologues come flying out of my mouth. I say whatever it is I need to say to try to achieve. What I won't do is change the story. I won't change the intention. I won't change the meaning. So I do have parameters on rules, but I will play all day long, because I know this is the frame of the audition. And this is what they're looking at. And I can say this and maybe Jordan will have a different experience from me. In 33 years of auditioning for film and TV, and I'll paint with a broad brush in a lot of the stuff I teach, not one time ever in the room that I've auditioned for film and TV has there been a script supervisor. This is what they're looking at. This is what they're looking at. Did the character become me? Do they believe it? Is it real? And I will live and die with those tools. I just will. That's me. Doesn't make everybody else comfortable. I trigger out loud. I will, everything I do, I will do whatever I feel I need to do my best work in the audition. And my best work isn't forcing myself to say something verbatim.
And I also notice you're very natural, meaning sometimes we focus on, yes, the eyes, let them see you, let them see your face, don't hide. But sometimes I've seen you, while I was stalking you in social media, you're like going this, covering your face, looking down, doing whatever. So basically you're being you. You don't care about doing whatever.
It's just basic human behavior. Acting is behaving. Acting is, it's behaving. It's not talking. It's not posing. It's not this or that. It's basic human behavior. And, ultimately, you can't restrict yourself. A lot of people in this industry are going to want to tell you the rules of acting. And what I've learned in 33 years is there are no rules to acting. You don't have to do shit. You don't have to rehearse. You don't have to look at the camera. You don't have to speak up. The only thing you have to do is show up, and then there's an opportunity. Now, is being in frame better? Possibly. Is speaking up better? Sure. Is rehearsing better? Sure. But ultimately, there's no rules to acting. I believe there are tools that if you use these tools, they will do things for you, like put your focus on your obstacle, give you purpose. They will eliminate all the distractions by creating real human behavior. But again, people do this, and people burp, and people disengage, and blah 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 blah. People don't sit there like robots and just stare. No, I believe stillness on camera is power. So I work on tools that help me create stillness, which is when Michael Caine says in a close-up, you go right eye to right eye, because stillness is power. So I work on that. I work on making things a secret, making every conversation private, because most people, because it does make you stiller, and it brings your volume down, and it makes things more important. But ultimately, we work on these tools and we rehearse. So ultimately, when we are taping or doing the work, I don't change my craft between auditioning and the work. Auditioning is acting, acting is acting. And people go, well, you should take an audition class because it's different. It's not different. I mean, why would I change my craft? I'm trying to prove to the casting director and the people hiring me that I'm a good actor. Why the hell would I do anything different in the audition than I would do on set or stage, other than spend more time with the script? There are people who will debate that. Again, you have to work what's best for you. I never audition. I prep to do the job. I do the job the best I can in the audition. And I just tell myself, I'm doing the job for free. I'm doing the job for free. Yeah, quote.
Cool. Adele.
Just kind of riffing off that. So you have a lot of freedom in the audition room, and you allow yourself that freedom to play as long as you're achieving your objective.
Or fighting for my objective. Yeah,
fighting for your objective. How do you translate that when you do get on set? And are you often finding that you are allowed to have that same freedom and talk with the director, or do you then limit yourself to having, because now you do have a scripty, or how do you translate that? Or you just
I let them tell me no. I don't ask permission. The only thing I would ever ask permission for is when you have to put your hands on another actor. That's it. That's the only time you seek permission. Other than that, I go up there to do my best work, and I let them redirect me. I don't worry about, I'm going to do it the way I think they want to do it, blah, yada, yada. It's I come in, I was hired to do a job. I use all the information I have in the craft to do what I think is my best work, and then I let them redirect me. So example, quick example like this, why I don't seek permission and I just do the work. I worked on that was a Liam Neeson movie, number 3, Taken 3, right? So I got hired to be a police officer. And again, I read for a different part. They hire me for this part. They have no idea if I can do this shit. I think they take for granted that if you do good work, you can do good work in anything. So again, you really got to prep. In this scene, me and we're we're uniformed police officers. We were called to the scene of a potential crime. We enter a house, we come in with our guns. We're serpentining through the house. We come into a room. There's a very dangerous looking tall guy standing over a bed, a woman in the bed, dead, bloody. There's a knife on the bed. Liam Neeson standing there. Okay. So that's the scene. And it's very clean. The way it's written, it's very sterile. It's just get away from the body, get away from the knife, get on the ground, put your hand behind your head, yada, yada, yada.
Well, as with everyone.
Go ahead.
So I know my objective. It's to subdue, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's a little nervous, a little walking on eggshells. It's Liam Neeson, blah, blah, blah. But he was great. And we had rehearsed during the week some of the action stuff we were getting ready to do. But the scene we did the scene a couple of times. It was just blah. It was just, everybody was worried about the lines and the verbatim.
I am so sorry, I'm trying to put that scene and I have it while you talk. I'm just
It's okay. Well, let me just describe it first. So I realized I'm being a baby right now. I'm trying to do the lines, and I realized that's not my job. My job is not to do the lines. My job as a police officer, as a dangerous man with a knife standing over a body, my job is to protect my partner. My job is to protect my life. My job is to subdue him at all costs. So the next scene, we came in, and I literally looked at him and I said, "Get the fuck away from," and I started yelling at Liam Neeson, cursing at him and threatening his life. And that's all I did. I started threatening his, he looks at me, we engage, and we're off to the races. And then the adrenaline's flow and blah, 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 blah. And it was just all about, I was threatening his life. I was not a police officer anymore, just a guy trying to protect my partner, a loved one. And I would kill him under those circumstances. They yell cut, people come running in from Video Village, director loved it, blah, 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 more of that, more of that, more of that. Liam Neeson came over, he's like, fuck yeah, he goes, good, let's play. This is good. So
okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and show that scene. It's very short, so
it's a blur, by the way. The scene is a blur. But the residuals come in. Yay. We got to choreograph that, for a week. And it gets chopped up and you don't see much. And again, that was one of those parts that came, on the heels of telling myself, I don't care if the character has a name or not. I get to hang out with Liam Neeson for a week and work. And, it's so funny. He's so strong. He was so worried about hurting me because he had to put the cuffs on me. And he was hurting me, but I would never tell him. And he was like, "Hey, Rob, does that hurt?" I was like, "No, it's fine. It's awesome. You just keep doing it." And every time it was like, "Oh, for the love of God, that hurts like shit." But I would never say that to him. And I was like, "No, keep doing it." And I remember for a week, I was icing my wrists because I was like black and blue, like an abuse victim. It was just like, oh my God, it was a great experience. But again, the experiences are invaluable. I wouldn't trade them for anything, working with anybody. And you don't control how they cut it. You don't control actually what the movie is. It's not your job to make a good movie. It's just your job to do the job. Michael Caine said, you can be in shitty movies. And I'm not even saying that when reasons I'll say yes to everything because I don't know how it's going to turn out. My judgment is subjective as anybody else's. But Michael Caine said, you can be in shitty projects, folks. He goes, just be the best thing in them. He goes, do good work. You're not going to be blamed for the movie. Just do your best work. Do your job, and then move on to the next thing, Days.
Thank you. Okay, wonderful. Who's next? Jack.
Hey, Rob. Thanks for doing this, man.
Good to see you, bro.
Hey, good to see you again. I got a question. How much in your whole experience and career, how much improv have happened on set?
More and more as we move on. I mean, the further I get into my career, the more improv is asked for. I don't even just encourage you. I implore you to save up your dollars, and in conjunction, in addition to your scene study and your craft and your technique classes, you study improv. I can't tell you how many times over the last 15 years, even in the audition room where the director's like, "Hey, let's improv a little bit." And I'm like, it doesn't say improv on my resume. Literally, nobody knows if I can improv or not. And I get asked to do it. And I think, how many people who are being asked to do this who just can't do it or are not comfortable enough to do it? So how often, Jack? A shitload. I would implore you to expect it to happen. Expect it to happen, that you're going to need to, because to me, the script, and what I'm learning is other people see it this way too, the script is a starting point. It's a reference, that it's a seed and it just grows from there. And once you start playing with the tools and you know your purpose and the relationships, again, the character becomes you and things are going to come out of you and wants and changes. Where the first time it was like all improv, I did a couple of days on a movie, or it was originally called Bastards, but it was changed to Father Figures. And then the callback with the director, script, he goes, let's just improv a little. I didn't even read the scene. I was like, let's just improv a little. All right, let's improv a little. And he had me in there for 20, 25 minutes. He was just throwing stuff at me and we were riffing. And none of the improvs that we did ever made it to the movie, but that's what I was hired on. And again, I wound up getting to work with Owen Wilson and Ed Helms, and even more great, J.K. Simmons was in the scene. And I didn't even know he was in the scene until the day before. And, and so I implore you to study improv, because all the tools I've mentioned today, moment before, objective, motivation, obstacle, relationship to obstacle, inner monologue, triggering, all those things are the bones of improv. It's just without the script. You have to be able to do these things. You don't wake up every day and go, oh shit, it's Friday today, I got to learn my Friday lines. No, you live your life. And what is life other than you wake up, you have a list of things to do, things get in your way, you have relationships to those things, you deal with them with tactics, you're always thinking, your inner monologues are always working, your brain doesn't turn off, and you're listening and you're being triggered by things. Those are just the tools of the actor, of the human being, which emulate the tools of the actor. And they're the exact same tools, and plus others in improv. They all work together. It's one part of the craft doesn't work against the other. It's just going to make you more comfortable. It's going to allow you the freedom to speak your opinion, to come off the book a little bit, to improvise, to double up on lines. And just because a line is written one time doesn't mean you only say that line one time. Just because a word is only written one time doesn't mean you say that word one time. Just because the script doesn't say, please don't sing these lines, doesn't mean don't sing these lines. There's no right or wrong when it comes to acting. There is just servicing the moment. In this moment, what is called upon? What is your job? And look, you're going to have teachers who are debating, man. They're going to say no. But that's good. You get choices. You get to decide what works best for you. Where are you comfortable? And I'll never tell you that. I'll just say you try these things. Try them.
Based on that, so it's very fair to say that Rob does not play it safe. And
I try to service the script. To me, that's my safety. Is what do I believe it's asking for me to do when I do that? And I believe I can intelligently discuss that with somebody debating me. And I can say, okay, you might not want me to do that, but I need you to see where I saw the seeds for that coming from. But again, my job is, I'm not the director. So again, the director has a vision, and it's also my job to service the director's vision. So I have to listen to the director, and then whatever tools I use, I have to take their direction. I have to funnel it through my tools and interpret it into something playable for me. And again, I have my tools. I have my little machine. You say this, I put it through my process, and it comes out here. Is that something close? But everybody's got a different process. How they interpret direction and how it goes in one end and comes out the other. So again, that's up to you. Again, so an example of what I would do. So let's say the director's talking to me in adjectives and emotions. Director's like, no, Rob, I need you happier here. Well, happy is an adjective. Happy is an emotion, and emotions aren't doable. And I don't act adjectives because that's acting. So I have to ask myself, okay, I'm not going to act happy because that's acting. I don't want to act. I don't want to get caught acting. But what can I do to my obstacle? What can I do to my scene partner? What can I do to the thing standing in my way that when I do those things, the person judging me is going to go, oh, Rob's pretty happy. So I go to tactics, or I go to my objectives, and I go, can I flirt with you? That kind of makes me look happy. Can I charm you? Can I make light of the situation? Can I tell you a funny story? Can I excite you? And there's endless things that I can do tactically. Objectively, could I try to make you happy? Because I'm trying to make you happy. I look happy. Can I try to make you smile? Can I try to make you laugh? That's not me acting happy. That's me trying to get you to do things. But when I do those things, I tend to look and feel happy. Again, the same thing. The direction is, Rob, I need you to be angrier. All right. Well, how do I funnel that? I take that in and I go immediately, well, I'm not going to act angry because that's acting. So, but what can I do to my obstacle where the person judging me is going to go, yeah, Rob's pissed. I can threaten you. I can scold you. I can bite your head off. I can tear you a new one. I can lay into you. I can lay down the law. I can put my foot down. Again, I can do endless things to you that, depending on the circumstances juxtaposed against this dialogue, some are going to work more effectively than others, but hopefully the person judging me is going to go, oh, he's pissed. I have to use the tools. I'm just this empty husk, and I'm being held up by the craft at this point, so I rely heavily on the craft.
Thank you. Okay, so let's switch a little to short films, since we have produced our first short film recently and we're about to do the second one. Is there one thing that you can say, Rob, do not make this mistake, or an advice that you can say when when producing a short film, this is the thing to look for? Or maybe not one, maybe a couple of tips you can have, that mistakes you've made that you wish nobody else would make them?
Yeah, so a couple of things. You can justify any visual. You can't justify bad sound. Bad sound's going to cost you money. Just put the money into sound right off the top. Just say, screw it. I'd rather you use a shitty camera and great sound than a great camera and shitty sound. No, most of your audience isn't going to go, oh, good, they shot on a red. Who gives a shit? It doesn't matter what you shot it on. People are there for the story. So make sure your sound is the best sound you can do. I'd rather you spend more money on sound than visuals at this point. Rehearse. Only hire actors who are willing to rehearse. Only hire actors who are willing to treat it as if you're doing a play. Because ultimately, who's telling your story? Ultimately, we're listening to the truth coming from the actors, okay? So they have to be good. There's nothing worse than going to a film festival and you're watching a short or an indie film and you're like, this is pretty good. Oh, shit. Whose girlfriend was that? Whose boyfriend was that? Whose father did they just give a line to? Who, it's only, and here again, that's why you're not allowed to say it's only one line, Eric, because, it's only one line. Let's give it to Daddy. Let's give it to Shelley. She'd think it'd be a hoot to be an actor. Well, is it a hoot to fuck up your short film? I mean, you only hire actors. You only hire trained people who are willing to rehearse. Because even the least experienced people, I think through good rehearsal, you can get them to tell the truth. You don't want people making their discoveries on set. You want people making their discoveries in rehearsal. I want everybody to treat every job as if they're working for Tyler Perry, where you get one take. You have to be prepared. And if you're not ready to do your best work on one take, no one's ever going to see your best take. Again, but then if you're prepped and you're rehearsed, you show up to set more comfortable because you know what your job is. You know the relationships and the circumstances and the wants and the intentions. It is imperative. The few times that I've been able to direct, my requirement was rehearsal. You will come and you will work, and I promise you, you will be that much better off for it on set. Extensive rehearsal time with my actors. Yeah.
Can we be clear that the rehearsal doesn't mean necessarily, it's being on set ways, like, of course, we're going to let the moment affect us. Let's not confuse people thinking that, okay, we're going to rehearse the exact movement at the exact time.
No, God, no. And in rehearsal, there will be improv, and in rehearsal, there will be all these things. Rehearsal is to me, so when you get to set, you don't have to think about why you're there. You don't have to think about what your character's job is, what the objectives are, what your obstacles are. Oh, no, you can live freely in that moment, and we will improv, and it'll grow from there. I just can't have you showing up going, okay, what are we doing here? That's it. I can't have you going, I need to work my lines for a minute.
Got it.
Yeah, rehearsal is so you're free to live. There's a great quote by Edward Norton, and the quote is, you can live intuitively on set, but you got to do all the preparation first. You can't just show up and go, hey, let's see what happens today. No, you got to prep, and then you can let it go, because then at least ingrained in you are the circumstances and the relationships and the wants. And then you can play. And then I can meet the other actor for the first time and go, okay, I don't know you, Julie, but I know what I want from you. I know what my relationship to you is. I know why we're here, and I know what our backstory is. And I know what the repercussions of me not achieving my goal are, whether or not I've ever met you or not. That doesn't matter. But yeah, extensive rehearsal time and sound.
Okay. Once you're on set with your short film, what are the mistakes you've made or things that you wish you would have done different? How do we make it go smooth during the day of a shoot?
Rehearsal. Again, rehearsal solves a lot of that problem. A lot of time we're waiting for, we're doing extra takes and the director's not quite happy with the performance and there's miscommunications with the actor. Often what takes time is lighting. Lighting is very important. Generally what takes between setups is lighting. So again, have a good lighting person, make sure the lighting person is, what gets people on the same page generally is when after you've cast it, I get everybody together for a read through, and I mean everybody. The casting director, who's ever doing sound, who's ever doing lighting, everybody involved, so everybody feels like they're part of this process moving forward. Everybody has the same goal, and they see the enthusiasms. And if people aren't willing to do that, tends to be a red flag. Look, short films are passion projects. They are, and they should be for everybody. Everybody should be doing it to get better at their craft. And if you find people who just, they're doing you a favor and they don't want to be engaged, blah, blah, blah. Everybody being on the same page tends to let things run smoother that way. There are always going to be problems. That's why pre-production is key. Have all your paperwork done. Have your location signed for. Everybody's contracts are signed. What happens is weather happens and people get sick and, things are late and there's traffic. There are always going to be things that you can't control. But as long as you do your job, that's just part of the process.
Okay, who's next with another question? Because I know you guys are dying to ask more questions. So go ahead. Go ahead, Julie.
Sorry. I was more saying this for the group because, I've worked with Rob privately. I've taken classes with him on Zoom and live. And I've talked to him about doing some private coaching as well. And, I just wanted to let everybody in the group know that his taping, his coaching is just so incredible because, we're always told about, like taking risks and just being you and, everything that he's mentioning. And he like really pushes you to just, to do things out of your comfort zone and to not be perfect. And I've been working on that myself because I know I go to Daisy's, we tape a lot together, and the last like maybe 5 or 6 auditions, I'm like, we do one and I'm like, you know what? No, I'm not even going to look at it. I liked it. I liked how I felt. It was me and that's it, So I'm getting less and less inclined to be perfect. And I love working with Rob, it really enhances that so much more. So I highly suggest going to Rob for coaching. And I wanted to, and for classes as well, as classes are incredible, but the private coaching is awesome and his taping is too. But I also wanted to mention he also offers, if you wanted to split a coaching
I always forget to say this. Thanks. I always forget to say it.
He also allows you to split a coaching session. So a coaching session is like 45, right?
Yeah.
45
an hour. Yeah,
45 for an hour. And you could do that with 2 people. And that's really reasonable.
You can do it with 3 people. I've had 4 people come and a couple of broke young teenagers are like, we each give you $12. I was like, hey, come on.
Yeah.
We just do work on, and everybody works together and we work on scenes and it's just, we work the craft.
Right. Yeah. So I highly suggest it. And I wanted to put it out there if anybody wants to join me for some sessions too. I'd love to, jump on board with, I would rather just be 2 people, to be honest.
Yeah.
But, anybody, whoever, just, message me in WhatsApp, or you have my number, I'm sure most of you. But anyway, I just wanted to bring that up because he's just so amazing to work with, personally and professionally.
Thank you, Julie. That was a perfect commercial. I was going to throw that to Rob so he can tell us about his classes, but you did a great job.
I'm going to edit that out from this and I'm just going to put it on my page. I'm going to TikTok that.
It's always better to hear it from someone who's taken the class than the teacher himself.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. I'm not a fan of people who sell themselves. That's not.
Rob, what's next? What projects, future projects you have? What's going on in your world next? I know you're getting in YouTube and trying to get some tips in YouTube. And what else is next in your world?
Just auditioning. Had an audition yesterday. Just had a audition a couple of days ago. Just moved my crazy 80-year-old father to town. He was an actor and he studied at NYU when he was younger, and my parents split. He moved to LA and back in 79, and life gets in the way, and he's a musician and a martial artist. He's 80 now. So I was like, hey, numbnuts, why don't you move to Atlanta where there's actually work, and I can help you get an agent. So he had his first meeting with People Store yesterday, and they took him on board. And I know a lot of categories are deep here in Atlanta, but a crazy 80-year-old Jewish martial artist who plays the drums, I don't know how deep that category is. So he may get some opportunities. I don't know, Jordan, if you need and he's a really good freaking actor. He's been training forever and he's dynamite. So if you need a nice old man, he's ready to work. And he's here in Alpharetta right now. We got him set up. And
we invited him to today's session.
I know, and if it's okay with you, I'd love to get him involved with you guys too. He was dealing with some things today as he settles in with registration and stuff. So he thanked you and he does want to get involved.
Absolutely. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, go ahead. Wait, I think Jordan had a question first.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to say I've met his dad because he's been on some of the classes, and
Yeah,
he's
me
awesome.
too.
That's all I wanted to say.
Okay.
Awesome. He's awesome. I met him. He's so lovable. He's got that New York accent.
He's very funny. Yeah, he's very, very funny.
Jordan, go ahead. You had a question.
Yeah, definitely need more older gents. I think all I got's like Alpha and Charles Green and Rick Andoska. And
I'll send you his headshot and resume just so you have it, because People Store is going to get him People Store is going to start getting him up on the sites pretty soon. So
Tom's my favorite human being.
awesome.
So my question was kind of like in relation to you talking about the classes that you do, the pop-ups.
Uh-huh.
I think the last time I saw you in person was at the thing that you and Vivi did, where it was like a bunch of local directors and then us actors, and we were all doing like a scene and we performed it. Do you remember this?
Atlanta. Oh my God, I totally forgot about that. God, that seemed like forever ago. Yes.
Would that be something you would be interested in doing more of if I had a location?
Absolutely, Jordan. I will do anything as long as we're working the craft. Anything.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as we get to play. Because again, I want to direct more too. So I want to be able to work the craft under all different circumstances, as long as that's what we're working on. These tools work for directors, for actors, for writers. I mean, we're all feeding the same beast. So 100%. Just say when. I do more of this than anything. So just say when, and I'll be there.
Cultivating.
Great.
Just cultivating more work for myself.
Let's do it.
Wonderful. I love these connections. Okay, so last but not least, you sent us worksheets this morning. So I emailed it out to everybody. Tell us what to do with those. I mean, I've taken your classes, so I know, but tell the.
Yeah, so hypothetically, so I think I sent you objective sheets, verb sheets, and one sheet that looks like it says, if your verb is this, then your inner monologue is this. And like I said before, look, acting has nothing to do with talent, the talent of the actors and the choices that we make. So I just want you to be able to spend more time with script and not have to rely on your brain. So I find that these sheets help me spend more time with the script. So let's say hypothetically, I'm just going to pull, here's a book. My line is, haven't you stood nervously in the wings waiting to make an entrance? So my line is, haven't you stood nervously in the wings waiting to make an entrance? So when I get a script, I go, okay, I do that 10 times. Haven't you stood nervously in the wings waiting to make an entrance? Haven't you stood nervously in the wings waiting to make an entrance? Hey, haven't you stood nervously in the wings waiting to make an entrance? Hey, Daisy, haven't you stood nervously in the wings waiting to make an entrance? Huh? Haven't you stood nervously in the wings waiting to make an entrance? Haven't you stood nervously in the wings waiting to make an entrance? So hypothetically, I went through that 10 times. And I think to myself, well, I know I'm talking to someone who I'm talking to, I'm trying to remind them or encourage them or whatever it is I'm doing. Let's say I don't have any specifics, so I'll take my sheets here. Let's say we're playing with the verbs, and the first one is to excite. So I'll go, oh my God, haven't you stood nervously in the wings waiting to make an entrance? And again, it's another time through the script. And then maybe I'll threaten you and I'll go, hey, haven't you stood nervously in the wings waiting to make an entrance? And then maybe I'll apologize and I'll go, look, I'm so sorry. Haven't you stood nervously in the wings waiting to make an entrance? And maybe I'll make light of the situation and I'll go, haven't you stood nervously in the wings waiting to make an entrance? And then maybe I'll flirt with you and I'll go, hey man, so haven't you stood nervously in the wings, waiting to make an entrance? And maybe I'll try to seduce you and I'll go, hey, haven't you stood just nervously in the wings, just waiting to make an entrance? And again, there are endless choices. So just with the sheet I gave you, there's about 150 on there, which means I'll go through the script 150 times. I'm off book in minutes. And now I'm creating character, because character is verb. And what do I mean by that? So when you get a character breakdown, it's littered with adjectives. It says Eric, he's 25 to 32. He's mean, he's nice, he's shy, he's outward, he's brave, he's flirtatious, he's mean, he's nice. And those are just adjectives, right? And those adjectives define one thing and one thing only. And that's our behavior. You have to do something mean to be defined as mean. You have to do something nice to be defined as nice. You have to do something flirtatious to be defined as flirtatious. So all this vocabulary of action, these verbs, these transitive actions. start giving you tools to create character. Because if I flirt with you, I'm the flirtatious guy. And if I beg you, I'm the desperate guy. So now we're expanding our vocabulary of action and spending more time with the script. So you have about 150 choices there. I also sent you a list of measurable objectives. And what I mean by that is everything on there, we can tell with our eyes and our ears whether or not we're achieving it. I want you to leave. I can tell whether or not you're leaving. I want you to stay. I can tell whether or not you're staying. I can tell whether or not you're standing up. I can tell whether or not you're smiling. Measurable objectives, which keeps my focus on you, which gives me something real to do. When we get a script, we're not really there. We're not really at Home Depot. We're not really on a pirate ship. That's all illusion and make believe. What I can do though, is give myself something real to achieve. Maybe I achieve it, maybe I don't. Who gives a shit? But I can try to do it. And by trying to really make you smile, you know, regardless of what the scene is, if I really, Caroline, try to make you smile right now, whether I'm threatening to cut your head off, or whether I'm trying to get you to go out with me, or whether I'm telling you you're fired, so go F yourself. As long as I give myself something real to do, my focus is on you and my behavior is going to be completely real. Everything else is the lines that were written and the blocking that was approved and the set that was built. But unless something real is happening, it's going to be stale. It's not going to. So you need to give yourself something real. So let's do some math real fast. Let's talk about spending time with script. No matter what script you have, if you go through the script once with each one of those verbs, you've gone through the script 150 times, right? Okay, great. And that still sounds like a lot. A lot of people don't spend that much time with script. There's 20 measurable objectives on that sheet, give or take. Let's do math. If you try to achieve each one of those objectives, whether they make sense or not is irrelevant. If you try to achieve each one of those objectives with each one of those tactics, that's 150 times 20. That's 3,000 times through the script using 2 tools, limited choices, because how many objectives are there in life? How many tactics are there in life? I'm not saying you have to do that, and you're not going to go through a script 3,000 times. What I'm telling you right now is the gift I'm giving you right now is from here on out, if you remember this conversation, you'll never be able to honestly look at someone in the eyes and go, oh yeah, I tried everything. Because you'll be a liar. You'll be just a big fat liar because you're not going through the script 3,000 times. And we're using limited choices there because we weren't even talking moment before. We weren't talking motivation. We weren't talking relationship scenario. We weren't talking obstacle or as if or substitution or inner monologue or triggers or whatever endless tool you have. Your job is to work script. You need to do it every day. Writers write every day. Painters paint every day. Singers sing every day. Dancers dance every day. Every day you must work script. You don't need a script to do it. You need one word. You need a line to just spend time with. Make the line as short as possible so you can just do things. You literally just look around your room and go, my cup says Wonder Woman. All right. So my line for the next hour is Wonder Woman. And I can threaten you and go, Wonder Woman. And I can apologize and go, I'm so Wonder Woman, you know, and I can flirt and go, Wonder Woman. And again, we can play with the tools and I can try to get you to, it doesn't have to make any sense. One of the most freeing things I ever heard a teacher say to me was Sandra Dorsey 30 years ago. She goes, don't handicap your character with sanity. So if character is just our choice of action, don't handicap your choice of action with sanity. They're a crazy character. So instead of having to act crazy, just be aware of the circumstances. And again, right through the craft is, what do I have to do to the other person to be judged as such? So if I get bad direction, which is I need you crazier, I'm not going to act crazy because there's no universal crazy. You can't just go, you can't just do that. So what you can do is go, okay, under these circumstances, what can I do to the other actor where the person judging me is going to go, that was crazy. I mean, it's different every scene. You know, telling the truth can be crazy if my truth is crazy. Sometimes threatening seems crazy. Sometimes flirting seems crazy. Sometimes exciting someone seems crazy. Best, you know, juxtaposed against the circumstances. That's the craft for me. That's what I do. How did I get off on that tangent? Oh, sorry, the sheets I sent you. Yes, anyway. And I have relationship scenario sheets and there are endowment sheets when you endow another character with a quality which changes your behavior. Look, there are endless tools. I know, let me tell you when I started getting better as an actor. About 15, 17 years ago, and I was working a little bit here and there. I mean, I was around and I was like, I feel like I feel like I don't know what I'm doing all of a sudden and blah, blah, blah. I don't feel like I'm growing. And I realized I had all these tools I preach and I talk about. And I said, you know what? For the next month, I'm only using one acting tool. And I literally did this. Every audition for the next month, I only used tactics and I worked my tactics. And then I was like, oh, that was kind of cool. And I had some interesting feedback and I felt like I grew. Next month, I only used measurable objectives. That's all I did. What's my measure? Next month, I only used relationship scenarios. Next month, I only used endowments. Next month, I only used point of view or inner monologue or only moment before or only triggers. And I realized I was really growing the tools for myself and I was getting better feedback. And all of a sudden the tools started to work because sometimes you tell yourself, oh, I study, I know this, and we kind of glom over things. And not until I really made myself take these tools out for test drives and put them before the industry, that's when I felt like I got better. And not ironically, about 5 years later is when I started teaching. And again, I got into teaching accidentally. I didn't plan on teaching. Somebody asked me to coach them. A friend of mine asked me to coach me in a scene. I was like, I'll coach him in a scene. I was like, all right. And he seemed to have good feedback and he recommended some other people. And I'm just really bad organizationally. And one day I scheduled like 5 people at the same time and they all showed up at my house for coaching. And I was like, oh, this is more like a class. Why don't you everybody come on in and we'll just work everything. And that's sort of how the class was born. And then it was just that, you know, and all of a sudden we were just teaching and that wasn't really part of that wasn't part of the design. But again, it was just people who wanted to work the craft, you know, and the only reason I got a space in Marietta was because I got tired of cleaning my bathrooms for other people. I don't even like cleaning my bathrooms for me. Screw it. I was like, let's get a place that has its own bathrooms.
Okay. Anyway, did you want to add something else? I thought, did I cut you off?
Oh, I'm just rambling. That's good.
Okay. So that was okay. Does anybody have any final thoughts, questions, anything else we want to ask him? I'm going to send you guys via email and put in the chat where you can contact him, his Facebook page, his email, all of that stuff. Okay. So I'll send you later. Go ahead, Caroline.
I've just got a really quick one. Okay. So do you have any books that you would suggest for actors that you particularly love?
Uta Hagen, Respect for Acting. Though I'll tell you, this was my first book and this was my Bible. But the older I get, the more I gravitate towards Stella Adler. I think she says it slightly clearer. But that being said, the work, I first read the book, I was like, wow, everything really seems to make sense. Power of the Actor by Chubbuck. The tools in here are the same as the tools in here, but they're just said differently. And I think she gives you a good structure to work them. And the tools in there are the same, similar to the tools in here. I just find myself looking for them said differently. And I love this book, babe. I love this book. Okay. And this is the practical aesthetics. This is more Mamet and Macy and those guys. And this is Chubbuck. And this is Adler. And this is Hagen. And you know what? They all work the same tools. They seem slightly different and they apply them, but you need to find out who works best for you. Where is it most clearly laid out for you? It's not about complicating this. It's about simplifying this. What's the easiest thing to do? I think acting's hard and I'm not that bright. I'm always trying to simplify it in my head. You know, the clearer I state my objective, I want you to blank. That's my Bible. If I can literally boil it down to that, I'm in a good place, you know, and all these things sort of get me there, you know.
Yes. You know what, Rob? You are just I love your energy, everything. I mean, we love you. Okay. And I'm sure some people here are gonna be like running to your classes, especially those private classes that you can do for 2 or more.
Sure. Anytime.
Anyway, so unless anybody else has any questions, we have to stay after you leave because we need to talk about you.
Okay, I'll let you do that. And I got to go to Marietta. I'm coaching and taping at 2 and 3. So I'm going to run over there to go do that.
Okay, that sounds wonderful. We can't thank you enough, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Rob.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Unmute ourselves and do our thing, whatever we
Go do your thing. I'll see you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Thank you.
Everybody else
Awesome.
stay except Rob. Remember, everybody else stay. Bye. Thanks again.